Hello and welcome to Talking. The game has just finished. Chelsea 2, West Ham United 1, but massive controversy at the end of the game at Stamford Bridge. We're here to go through the highlights. And Gonzo, let's just skip to half-time, will we? Because not much happened in the opening 45 minutes. But what were you thinking at the break?
Well, I thought we'd set up to get the draw. I thought that was what it looked like in the first half. We weren't committing too many men. Well, weren't committing men forward at all. Leaving Antonio isolated. I thought when we did get the ball, there was a sort of lack of technique as well, particularly in wide areas from us, which was a bit of a concern. That being said, I thought Chelsea had one defender too many and lacked somebody with brilliance to make the pass through the middle. So I thought we were quite comfortable. There weren't many shots on there at all. Lots of tackles, lots of clearances. Zuma was obviously playing well, but it was a horrible game with not much quality on show, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I was okay at half-time. I think we had a game plan, which was to sit back, frustrate, try and counter-attack, and I think we were doing 2/3 of that. We were sitting back and we were frustrating, but we were playing well defensively. I think every man was doing the job we set out to do. I don't think we were giving Chelsea much. We were restricting them to hopeful crosses, a couple of long-distance efforts towards the end of the half, but I thought defensively comfortable. Offensively, I mean, it was a bit boring, weren't it? We barely got out of our half. There was a couple of half bright moments, Emerson going on a bit of a run, but you could see how lack of committed we were going forward when Emerson does that run. Nobody runs in the ball. Antonio's in there, and that's there's no run from Soucek like we usually see or anything like that. Then we had a bit of a spell where there was a bit of ping pong going on with Fernalds end up having a half a volley that sort of went wide comfortably. But at half-time, I was okay, actually. I thought this is probably what Moyes was hoping for. Get to 0-0 at half-time. But I would have wanted to see a bit more of us in the second half. And you can only justify the first half if you get a result, essentially. I think you come away with nothing.
Yeah.
You look back at the first half and think, well, we balls that up, didn't we, by sitting back for 45 minutes. And I felt we were showing too much respect to Chelsea. If Chelsea had won 4 coming into this out of the last 4 games, then I could understand why we're trying to keep it tight. But they hadn't. They'd won 1. They'd stuck 3 past them. Southampton had stuck a couple past them midweek. And I just think we were playing the badge rather than the team on the pitch a little bit in the first half. But at the same time, I was like, well, let's see. We have a game plan for the second half. But we did make it 1-0, Gonzo, in the 62nd minute. More ping pong. Ended up with Mikel Antonio sticking the back of the net.
Yeah, a game of goalkeeping errors today, wasn't it? So, big, massive flap from Mendy. Was really pleased with how Rice was alive to it and basically kept it going. And if you look at it as well, Antonio's on his toes. Originally, he's with Thiago Silva, who was obviously having a bit of a ding-dong with him throughout the match, but he literally was on his tiptoes, so he managed to get in. And in the end, it was Koulibaly who he beat to the ball. But just quicker reaction, mistake from a goalkeeper, quicker reaction from Declan and from Antonio, somehow put us 1-0 up.
I thought it was brilliant, given that we had very little going forward. And I think in the last couple of seasons, games like this, we rely on set pieces, and we've been quite poor at them recently. And we had just had a corner, which Bowen volleyed back at it. It was a comfortable save from Mendy, went out for another corner. This one come in. And the determination of our players was brilliant. First of all, Paqueta gets his head to it. I didn't know if he could head the ball. Never mind, challenge for it in the air from a corner. Goes up in the air. Mendy comes out to punch it. Kerr challenges him and says, right, then you're not having this. It's a weak effort, like you said, from Mendy. Goes to Declan Rice. He puts it back into the 6-yarder. It's all you can do. And luckily, Mikel Antonio is weirdly just stood on his own. I mean, I know Koulibaly's there when Antonio puts it in, but when you look at when Rice kicks it, Antonio's pretty much the only one in the 6-yarder because Mendy's on the deck at the front post. Koulibaly's a yard and a half behind him. And then he puts it in. I mean, uncomfortably. It sort of hit Reece James, who was just over the line. But 1-0 West Ham, and, maybe against a runner play, if you like. But this was the game plan. You have to say at this point, as soon as we made it 1-0, the game plan is working. Sit back, frustrate Chelsea, and try and get something. And that's what happened. But we only had the lead for 14 minutes. I mean, this was a bit of a wild goal. It felt a little bit crazy. I mean, the first touch from Chilwell was just weird. And then the finish When it first happened, you thought, how's that gone in? Then you watched replay, and I'm still a little bit like, oh, how have we allowed that to go in?
Yeah, but just before that, Fabianski had made an error just before that. I was worried about that, and that actually the goal bit was his third error in the game, and he just hadn't been punished for the first two, and the last one was just before that. I guess there was no talking between CHEWHU and CHEWHU because they both neither should be out jumped by Chilwell, and I think it was just a
Well,
bit
they
of
weren't.
sorry. Well,
They
no, but
weren't
no.
really.
Well, no, but no one went for it. That's my point. No one went for it. So I don't think I don't think any one of them said to one or the other, "Go on, you take it. It's yours." Or no one called for it. No one called for it. I think they
Kerr
both
did
stood
go
there.
for it. He just missed it.
Well, I think they've got in each other's way. I think they didn't communicate. I just think it was right in between the middle of them, and there should have been someone dominating and clearing that. But you will not convince me that neither one of them shouldn't have beaten Chilwell to that and headed that ball. And I think the lack of the communication probably was part of it. And then Fabianski, just terrible goalkeeping, really.
Yeah, it's a good run from Chilwell right in the middle of CHEWHU and Kerr. Kerr, in my eyes, 100% goes for it. He leaps off the ground. He just can't reach it. And then he sort of, like you said, he ends up getting in CHEWHU's way because when he comes down, he's in CHEWHU's path. Hits Chilwell in the back of the head. And then, fortunately for Chilwell, he glances, think, where is the ball? And luckily, he sees it. I don't think he's shooting. I think he's just trying to keep it in the pitch, to be honest with you. And it sort of bounces and goes in. But Fabianski, like you said, there was a few moments before that where not comfortable. A couple of wicked crosses from Chelsea went in, and it was a bit like Mendy-esque, which is a bit of a timid attempt from the goalkeeper to get it. No bravery, not smashing into the attacker or anything. And it was a bit like that. He came out, did a Peter Schmeichel start. The worst thing is he doesn't need to do that. Just stand still. Just stand still with your legs closed, your hands behind your side, because then he cannot score. The only way Chilwell can score is if the goalkeeper jumps. And Fabianski's come out, and does a star jump, and it goes in between his legs and bounces into the goal. I mean, I'm going to say it's a fluky goal. Everything about it's fluky. It hit him in the head, and then it goes in. But it's one of them, the more you watch it, the more frustrated you get with the defender. And you think, oh, come on, you've defended so well. For 76 minutes, defensively, we've not put a foot wrong. The few times they have got past our defence, the goalkeeper's been called upon and done his job. And then that just happens. And it's incredibly frustrating. And then, I mean, after waiting a long time for action, Gonzo, I mean, the game really kicked into action for the last 5 minutes. And it starts with West Ham, actually. Said Benrahma and Cornet and Javid Bowen sort of pressing. Gets it out to Benrahma. Cornet nicks it, gives it to Benrahma, who goes down the left. He makes his run into the box. Lovely ball in. Should he be scoring? Because it cannons off the post from Cornet's header.
Oh, he should definitely score. Yeah, and Benrahma in a position, that's where he's been really effective this season, when he's been in that area. But forget whatever his position he's meant to be starting in. That area, he's taken to that. He's driving into the box, getting to the byline. Really nice cross as well. Really, really nice cross. And Cornet, do you know what? Yes, he should have been scoring. You're absolutely right. He should have scored that. But he actually almost showed a striker's instinct for, bang it. He moved into the position and he was very decisive in his movement. And you were going to see that later on, in a couple of minutes later, you're going to see a striker's instinct as well. And I think once that happened, I'm pretty frustrated at the moment. I'm pretty angry, actually. And I was even more angry when that happened, not because Cornet missed it, but because Moyes had wasted a section of the match playing Benrahma in the middle. I don't know. I just don't know what was going on, when clearly that can't have been a revelation to anybody that Cornet's that sharp and decent in the middle. Why that wasn't happening from the moment he decided to take Antonio off. Don't mind him taking Antonio off. He's done, played 90 minutes the other night. He's run around. He's had a big old battle tonight. He was close to losing his temper on an occasion as well. Don't mind Antonio coming off, but to put Benrahma there, and it just showed it, mate. You know what I mean? I just thought we could have, that move where Cornet almost scored could have happened 10 minutes before, and then we would have been in with a real chance. I thought we just wasted 10 minutes. I'm quite annoyed about it.
I think he's unlucky. I need to see the header back two more times, I think. But when you think about where Cornet is when Benrahma picks up the ball, he's on the edge of the box with Benrahma. That's a long distance Cornet's travelled to get essentially to the back post, while Benrahma's gone down the 18-yarder. He's covered a lot more ground than Benrahma has. So I feel like he's on the stretch a little bit, and I'm more impressed that he just gets there. And on another day, that goes in. It's a fantastic effort with his head. I think he's just unlucky more than anything. It's not like a sitter. He's not had all the time in the road. He's just throwing himself at it. I need to see it back. Maybe he does have a bit more time than I recall, but I do feel like he's bust along to get there, and he's just got what he can on it and it's come off the post. But I mean, while you were cursing that, you were really cursing it a minute later, Gonzo, because the ball was in the net, just our one.
Yeah, I mean, I'm absolutely gobsmacked by obviously came. It's not the same side, but I felt fullback. Both fullbacks were a bit of a whatever, wide defensive, whatever you want to call them. I don't know. I thought actually when he started the game, read out the team sheet, 23 at the back. I felt it was more 4 at the back. I didn't feel that Emerson was in a left centre back position hardly at any points during that game. But anyway, whatever it was, it doesn't matter really, does it? But I felt that they were going to get a lot more joy down that side because as well, I'll speak about individuals later. But that, to be fair, that wasn't. I don't think that overly was CHEWHU's fault. That was a tactical thing because he was left 2-on-1 there.
Yeah, someone's not done their job.
Yeah,
I'm inclined to say Jared Bowen, but then with the reshuffling of the pack, it's sort of like, well, was Bowen still out in the right? Someone was meant to be out there.
No, and I think
he was just left.
Yeah, he was. So it was a 2-on-1, which never should happen. So I don't blame CHEWHU for that bit. And then when the ball came over, the weird thing is, actually, it was a 2-on-1 the other way because really we had Zuma and Ogbonna who either could have dealt with a Havertz thing, and Havertz came in and got his goal. So yeah, sucker punch, real sucker punch, really, because I do think we defended incredibly well. And I didn't feel that Chelsea overly had the magic to open us up. And I think one of them was a sort of defensive mix-up and a goalkeeping error, and the other one was something tactically was quite wrong. But I still think we had enough centre midfielders in the middle, centre backs in the middle to deal with that. But I just think overall it's quite frustrating because I thought we went for it more against Tottenham, and Tottenham are better than Chelsea, and I don't know why we didn't apply that same logic. And we almost, it's like, sorry, I'm skipping a bit, but it's like we waited and waited until they kept on bringing on all these brilliant players. In many respects, our best chance to win that game was earlier on when they had the crap players on. They kept on bringing all these really good ones on. So not crap players, you know what I mean, but lesser players, let's say, they started with. And just incredibly, we showed him too much respect today, Gio, I'll tell you that much now.
Yeah, I don't blame CHEWHU at all. He's 2-on-1. It's impossible for him to defend that situation. They had so much time as well. You could see them almost pointing at each other, saying, "Where would you like the ball?" And Chilwell said, "Actually, I'll go down the side and have it here, please." He's going, "Yeah, right, you go down the side. There you go." There's nothing CHEWHU can do. The lack of help that he's got is shocking. It wasn't just like Chilwell come on a 50-yard long busting run and we've been caught out here. They were over there 2-on-1 for felt like 10 seconds, which is a long time in football. Still nobody went out to help him. Ball comes across, and Havertz is just stronger than Ogbonna. They're both wrestling each other all the way to the front post. And like you said, Zuma's quite static watching it, but I don't think he knows Havertz is coming over his shoulder. No. It's just a battle between Havertz and Ogbonna. And it is, I'm just going to say, it's fantastic attacking play by Havertz to fend off the defender, get his foot on it first. Fantastic finish. But this is where the big controversy came. Before we do that, I just want to say a quick thank you to Callum for the $7.99 Aussie dollars. And also, this video is unsponsored, but we would like to take this moment to pop you in the direction of our Patreon. We're 96%, sorry. Way to doing this as our job comfortably. We've been doing it as our job for 18 months now, thanks to brand deals as well. But if you fancy getting more Hammers Chat videos, please do head over to our Patreon. We'll also have our player ratings from today's game, where we'll be taking a more in-depth look at every individual player. You can join up from £3.60 per month, patreon.com/Hammers Chat. The link is in the description. Massive thank you to everybody that does support us. But Gonzo, 3 minutes after we had the ball in our net, and I'm not going to lie, I was celebrating because what a finish that is for Maxwel Cornet. But it got ruled out with VAR. Give me your thoughts. Give me your take on the whole thing.
Well, I was celebrating as well. I even wrote down what I do for this, write down my notes, goal, and I watch it again. And I didn't think I saw the stumble, obviously. And when I watched it in real time, I thought, the stumble, it's probably the end of the attack, but it sort of got recycled. And I thought Cornet did really well, very, very composed. which in hindsight has made me more annoyed a bit that I was annoyed about earlier, which is why wasn't he brought on and played centrally when Antonio Javet should anyway, whatever. So the incident itself, I mean, your heart just sinks. And I'm pretty sure I'll speak for everybody here. When the referee goes over to look at it and you just know what's going to happen and your heart sinks. I think the worst thing for me, right, I think I always come on here, and if anything, I'll go the other way. When you ask me honestly about incidents, I'll almost go the other way, because what I don't ever want to happen is for us to play badly and then for us to think we've lost a game because of a result, right? So I always think there's different things you can do tactically. You know, we lost a game today, I think, because we didn't attack the team enough, because we played them too much respect, because Fabianski made an error. I'm quite happy for the reason we've been lost a game to be our fault. So I don't go crying about referees and the rest of it. But that was absolutely, I was devastating, you know, to watch him go over there and know what he was going to do, and to know that it's happening when the goalkeeper's pretended to be hurt. And I think that's the thing more than anything. It wasn't enough to actually, I'll tell you the thing here. What happened with Bowen? Bowen did not try and foul him. Bowen had lost his balance. He was trying to retrieve the ball. Bowen had lost coordination. It wasn't a heavy contact. And actually, Mendy was able to carry on goalkeeping. But what Mendy did then was, so I'm actually going to pretend I'm hurt and I'm not going to carry on goalkeeping. And I think the thing that frustrates me, look, did Bowen make contact with him? Yes, he did. But what's really frustrating me, particularly as he actually went on to book Havertz for diving later on, is that all of that has been bought. And the thing is, you watch that in real time, you can see he sort of gets hit. So, you know, and I look at him, I think, where's your goalkeeping instinct, mate? Do you know what I mean? Why aren't you then trying to run and try and smother the return shot from Cornet? Do something, continue your goalkeeping. But he was there, he was lying on the ground, acting like he's been shot. I'm telling you, there won't be a bruise on him. There's nothing wrong with him at all. And then they watch it in VAR and they watch it and you think, oh, that doesn't look too bad. And I think, hold on, let's just slow it down a little bit. And they slow it down to such an extent, bang, and it looks like a big impact. It wasn't a big impact. I don't think we deserve to win that game. I actually feel we deserve to lose that game, because I didn't think we showed enough ambition. But I'll tell you what, Gio, I do feel robbed by that at the end.
Do you think it was the right decision to overturn the goal?
I don't know. I can't. I don't. I feel robbed, mate. I feel robbed. I thought the contact was too slight. I think they should have let it go. I really do.
So is that a no?
No, I don't think they should have overturned it.
I think it's complete bollocks, in all honesty. I think Mendy's fucked it at this point. He comes out and palms it before there's any contact. He's already parried it. If that's a tackle in the middle of the pitch, so defender A goes in, wins the ball, and attacker bumps into and falls over. It's play on. It's deemed a good tackle. There's no, oh, well, you made slight contact with him. It's a free. No, there's none of that. It's continue. Mendy's played an absolute blinder there, rolling around on the deck, because he makes the referee have a decision. And it's a big decision to make, which is, if you allow this goal to stand, you're basically saying that the keeper was legitimately taken out of the game to some extent. And that's what Mendy's causing. Had Mendy got up and got on with it, like you said, that is a very easy goal to allow to stand, because Mendy's continued and Cornet scores. Yeah, goal stands, you were fine. So Mendy almost has to stay down in order to give the referee a decision to make, and the referee has bottled it. I can only recall once, I can't remember what it was that long ago now. I can only recall once where a referee has gone to the monitor, checked it. And
it was recently, relatively recently, was I think.
Well, there must be two then. I remember one from like
once happened this season.
Months ago. And it was probably when there was no fans in the crowd as well, which probably makes it a bit easier. But I only remember once referee's gone and watched him, went, no, do you know what, Mr. Whoever's watching VAR, you're wrong on this, and I'm right. I'm going to stick with my decision here. That is never a free kick to Chelsea. There is a contact. Yes, there is. But what else is he meant to do? It's not like he kicks him. Does he leave his leg trailing? Do you know something? I think he does, actually. I think Bowen leaves his leg dangling, but there's no force. He doesn't kick him. He just leaves his leg in there. I almost wish Bowen went flying down as well, as if say, where's my pen, referee? He's just taking me out here. And then that would have changed it. But because of the actions of Bowen, and because of the actions of Mendy, I think it almost makes an easy decision for the referee at Stamford Bridge to go in favour of Chelsea. And the whole thing's, it's corrupt, honestly. It is. That is absolute bollocks, that decision, because did we deserve something out of the game? Do you know something? I don't think we deserve to lose. I don't think Chelsea deserve to win it. But that is a fantastic finish from Cornet as well. And let's, as West Ham fans, let's not take anything away from that. He's composed on his right foot, smashes it past 2 defenders into the top of the net. And there's nothing wrong with that goal as I see it. And we always sit here and quite often we'll say that it's the right decision gone against West Ham. The referee's done the right thing. There's no way I can see that as a reason why that goal gets chalked up. Like you said, they slow it down so it looks like Bowen's wellying him in the arm and that he broke his arm. But honestly, the referee should have went and watched that, went back on the pitch and said to Mendy, just get up, will you? Goal stands, get up and get on with it. It's absolutely bollocks that. We've been robbed of a point today. Like I said, do we deserve it through a performance? Arguably not. But it doesn't matter. The fact is we scored in the 92nd minute or whatever it was. And it should have stood, but it hasn't. What if that game was at the London Stadium? Would it have got chalked off? Do you know what? I'm not even 100% sure. I think when you take everything into consideration, Mendy's actions, Bowen's actions at Stamford Bridge, I think that is why the referee's bottled it, because he has done. That is exactly what the ref's done today. He's massively bottled it. And this is where I hate VAR, because I almost think, well, who's the VAR referee? Because if it's somebody higher up the pecking order in terms of referees telling him you've got this wrong, he's going to listen to that guy. Of course he is. He's going to think, well, if someone's more experienced and better at referee than I am, tell me I've got wrong, I'm going to change my mind before I even got to the flipping monitor. I hate it. Honestly, I knew what was going to happen even before he got sent to the monitor. When I started watching replay, I thought they're never going to allow this. It's going to take a serious bollocks from the referee to say, no, goal stands, and he's just bottled it. I'm pissed off, actually, because we deserved a point from that, and I hope Moyes goes to town on VAR and the referee after the game, and I think he will as well, and he should do, because we deserved a point at the end of that game. Anyway, it finished 2-1 Chelsea. What did you make of it all?
I thought we were the architects of our own downfall, to be perfectly honest with you. Don't mean that bit at the end, clearly. I am fuming. I can't stand people like that. And even at the end, when they blew the whistle, he's still there. He's holding his chest, right? Anyway, that being said, nowhere near good enough, Geo, in terms of intent. Nowhere near. We actually, you know what? We go a goal down, right? And then we think, oh, hold on, we're going to start playing now. It's not good enough, right? If we had that in our locker at the end, to have that there with Benrahma and Cornet, then why weren't we doing it earlier? I just don't understand it. For too long, we played that game with Antonio isolated on there. And lo and behold, on the bench, we had 2 attackers in Cornet and in Benrahma who could impact that game. But I'll tell you what that was about. Sometimes both things are right. Were we robbed? Yes. Right. But did we show any ambition? No. I really don't think so. And when we did it, it was all too late. And I'll tell you what. So for that reason, I am annoyed with the referee, really annoyed with the referee. But I'm also annoyed with what went on from our part in it. I really am. I'll tell you what, they were there for the taking today. They really, really were. They're not ready. They haven't got Aubameyang back yet. I think Tottenham are a better team than them. Basically, all those teams are playing for second place. All those teams are playing for second place, right? And it depends how Arsenal do tomorrow. They might be lucky to get that, right? City are gone. And that's stratospherically better than anybody else. And sometimes you just got to shift stuff. And sometimes you just got to reappraise how things are. And I think probably Moyes' idea of these elite, wonderful teams is not true at the moment. They're not the Man United of old, right? They're not. They're not the Chelsea of old. They're not the Liverpool. Liverpool got no midfield at the moment. You've got to reassess these things. And whilst I'm really unhappy with the way we approached that game, I've got to say, we've got some good players now.
I don't mind the approach from the off. Like I said, at half-time at 0-0, I was okay with that because I thought, right, well, we've got good substitutions available. Let's see what we do in the second half. And it's the Bonner substitution. My heart sank. Bonner coming on, I thought, oh, maybe Emerson's injured or something. And then when Paqueta went off, I thought, because I knew what was coming. It was, we're just going to accept the 1-1. That 1-1 will do. Thank you. Thanks for hosting us, Chelsea. We'll take the 1-1 and we'll bugger off to the other side of London. And my heart sank. I thought, no, what are you doing? Because I agree with you. When I saw Benrahma coming on, I thought it was for Paqueta. I thought, oh, there you go. There's the obvious sub. He's going to come on for Paqueta. Fresh legs on the pitch. We took Antonio. Now, I understand taking Antonio. because he was about one foul away from getting sent off again today. He had lost his head. He got booked, was squaring up to Reece James. Now, I understand why he did it. Reece James was a little bit naughty and left his studs in on Antonio. So I don't complain with Antonio getting a bit annoyed with that. But about a minute later, he almost put Thiago Silva in like a headlock. There was a little tussle, and Antonio just went one step too far and ended up like pushing him and putting his arm around his head. Well, what are you doing, Mikhail, mate? You're on the booking. Just calm it down. And you could see the referee pointing to where Loftus-Cheek was perhaps fortunate, but not as fortunate in the first half. When he was on the booking, Antonio came by and put his arm out and clumped Antonio on the nose. Right. You can see the referee saying, hang on, I let Loftus-Cheek off with a little bit of that. I'm going to let Antonio off with it. And I just thought, Antonio's going to need to just chill out here a bit, because I thought he had a good game. I think that aggression actually helped him have a good game. In the first half, he was having to commit a lot of fouls. I understood why. We were under the Kosh, ball comes up. I'll just push Fofana, I'll give him a free kick and just stop the game for 30 seconds and give him a defensive breather. I actually thought he played quite well. But I had concerns he was just going to just push someone, just lose the head. So when he took Benrahma, I thought, oh, come on, this isn't going to work. When Paqueta come off for a ball, I thought, I could see what he's doing. Push Emerson up, push Fornals up. But I thought, well, but Fornals was playing well defensively, but offensively, he wasn't offering much. If anything, he wasn't playing well going forward. He's playing well looking after Reece James out on that left-hand side. And then when Cornet finally come on, the partnership between him and Benrahma immediately, which we had seen already in the Europa Conference League, we've seen them link up well. I know people say it's only the Conference League, but you can't use them in them games but discard everything that you see. You have to take what you see, good and bad, and take it forward into the Premier League. And if there's something positive and there's a good relationship and link-up play going on a Thursday night, you've got to try it in the Premier League. And, you know, Paqueta and Antonio both ran their socks off. They were looking knackered. We were looking a bit tired. I thought it was two easy substitutions for Moyes to make. Benrahma on for Paqueta, Cornet on for Antonio. I don't have to change anything. It's 1-1. Defensively, we're sound. The back five stays the same. Our midfield pairing stays the same. I just change it up going forward. Try something a bit different. But that substitution was the one, a bit like when Skamaka came on for Niles against Brighton. It was one of that substitution things when I just go, it felt like Moyes was like, I'm all right with 1-1. And that disappointed me, because Chelsea won today. They didn't just turn into five-star Chelsea. This is the same. That was the same level of performance today from Chelsea that we've seen in their defeat to Southampton and their defeat to Leeds United. They won them games. We could have won today. We just didn't go for it. And it comes down to, like I said, first half, I get it. Keeping it tight, I get it. But at least try and win the bloody game. Had we come out with a draw, I would have probably been happy, Gonzo. Especially if it was the 2-2 and Cornet's equaliser. I would have been ecstatic. We've just scored a last-minute equaliser away to another London team. We would have been buzzing with it. But we haven't. We got beat 2-1. Frustrating. Individual performances. I think there's an obvious man of the match for West Ham, but give me a couple of players.
I thought CHEWHU his technique was atrocious. I mean, truly atrocious. First touch and passing was terrible. Was a massive hindrance to us, actually, in terms of our retention of the ball. So when you're playing counter-attack, you want a little bit of hope when you counter-attack. And, you know, there was, to be fair, Fornals was a little bit guilty of it as well. But you just think, okay, we've got to make this pass count. We've got up the pitch a little bit. It was so bad. I mean, it was so bad, Geo. Obviously, the goalkeeper, Fabianski, was not clever today at all. In terms of good performances, I mean, there was lots of defensive good performances. I thought Rice played really well, and so did Zuma. You know, I can't notch that. You know, the fact that Zuma didn't see Havertz, so that laid a blame at him for that necessarily. I do think there was something more tactical going on. I thought actually quite a heroic performance, Zuma today. There he goes, 4 players.
Yeah, I think I agree with your assessments. Really, I think Bowen was poor again. Again, off the ball, you know, he's always in the right position, working hard and stuff. But that can't be enough. My worry is that is enough. As long as you work hard and you do well defensively, you will play regardless of what position you are. And when I was watching that game, I just thought, why was Moyes not brave enough to go with Paqueta and Ben Rama today. Well, I know why, defensively, but when I was watching Bowen and he was struggling and he picked up the ball 25 yards out maybe in the second half and he just blasted it against a Chelsea player. It was a bit like, come on, we need improvement, and we're still not seeing that. And we've got top quality sat on the bench waiting to come on. You know, it's time to be ruthless. It's time for Moyes to be quite unforgiving a little bit. One bad performance, you're out of the team, and that's okay. You're allowed bad games. You're allowed to be out of form. That's okay. But you're just not going to play when you're out of form because there's other good players to come in, kind of thing. And that's what we've got to see. We've got to see a bit more decisive from the manager. I thought Antonio played well, isolated massively, especially in the first half. He was just getting the ball belted at him. A couple of good runs, got us throw-ins up the pitch and stuff. I thought he did as well as he could in the circumstances. I thought Rice and Souček played well. Goalkeeper is a concern, as you said. I thought Fornals played well defensively. Offensively, not really much from him. Didn't really get much opportunity to go forward. Emerson's a hell of a lot more attacking than Aaron Cresswell, though. Aaron Cresswell tends to push Fornals up the pitch, and now and again we'll run past him. Emerson just bombs, just goes. It's like, sorry, mate, get out of the way. I'm going up. So very different approach with Emerson and Cresswell, both sort of left-footed left backs playing left centre back, but the way they do their forward runs in terms of speed and frequencies, complete contrast. I think Fornals is probably going to struggle a little bit switching between the two. That's something we're going to see. But there's one man of match for me. So any final words from yourself plus your West Ham man of match, please?
Yeah, just a really disappointing day. You know what, Geo? It's so. I think it's really, really tough when your emotions go up and down like that in football. And it's far from exclusive to West Ham. You think you're winning, and then you're drawing, which you just turn. It feels a bit crap, and then you're losing, and then you think you're drawing again, and then you're not. It's actually a loss again. I think it's quite. I find it quite hard actually, particularly when it's all sort of condensed, sort of later on in the game, and particularly when you feel as you feel a little bit of rough justice there as well. It's hard. It's hard. Look, maybe tomorrow's a video. I'll pick a few more positives out of it. And certainly other videos that talk about Paqueta on. It's nice to see him, isn't it? But anyway, I'll discuss that another day. It's hard. You say there's one. You say there's definite one standout.
Head and shoulders.
Do you
for
really?
Me,
do you really? Yeah, I'm
easily.
Do you? So I'm really, really. As I thought, Rice played really, really well today. I thought Rice had an excellent game, but I'm going to give it to Zuma because I thought he was quite heroic today. Really, I think without Zuma, we'd have conceded more goals.
I'm gutted, actually. I feel robbed, but I'm also disappointed at our lack of ambition, especially in the second half. I know we're missing Scamacca, but he's got a £50 million flair player. We've got Said Benrahma and good Nick coming into this one. We've got Mikel Antonio playing well at the minute in that team as well. There was enough players. We've got Maxwel Cornet who come on and hit the post and scored in space of 2 minutes. I think we had enough to get a win today. It's not like we were down to bare bones or anything. I know we've got two keepers on the bench and we're missing a player, but there was still enough in that squad to go out there and get the win. And if we throw in the kitchen sink at Chelsea and got beaten 2-1, you know something? Hands up, well done, Moisey. You went to Stamford Bridge and you had a pop, unlucky. But we didn't. We got beat without really trying to win the game. And that's what I find difficult to stomach the most a little bit. Like I said, had we drawn, I would have come on here and probably sung Moyes' praises for getting a draw at Chelsea. I'd have been happy with that. That's how fickle I am. But it's a results-based business. We didn't get a draw. We got beat. Do I think we should have had a point? Yes, I do. Corruption. But at the end of the day, we got beat 2-1. And I just feel the subs were a little bit frustrating. And our intent to win the game was lacking. But my man of match by a mile was Kurt Zuma. I thought he was absolutely fantastic. First 45, it was probably a 10 out of 10 performance from Zuma in the first 45 minutes. Anything that come in the box, he was clearing it with his feet, with his head. Bang, bang, bang. Second half, we conceded 2 goals. He's not at fault for either of them. He's done his job. When Chilwell scored that goal, you could see Zuma looking at them like, how have you two managed that? How have you two, an experienced right back, an experienced centre back who just signed from PSG, the most minutes under Flick for Germany, how have you two managed to allow that to happen. And he's probably thinking, "Oh, mate, I'm battering everything here, and I'm winning this, but you two couldn't stop Ben Chilwell getting through years and scoring." So, yeah, Zuma I thought was fantastic today. Really good performance from him. Anyway, we'll leave it there. Myself and Gonzo will be heading over to Patreon to do a player rating show either tomorrow or Monday morning. We'll be doing our player ratings over there. You wish to join us, patreon.com/HammersChat. Links in description. Let's see if we can get us to 100%. We're on 96%. We're not too far away, but it'd be nice to hit that 100%.
And we've had a sign up during the match, which we're very grateful for. Thank you.
Yes. And on Friday, over on Patreon, it's an exclusive Q&A with Harry Renner. But if you enjoyed this review, please do drop a like on it. Subscribe if you're new to Hammers Chat. Myself and Gonzo, catch you in a bit. Just depends if it's here or on Patreon. But we'll see you at some point.